Hey everybody, welcome to our weekend check-in video for WSTS-47 Intro to LGBTQ Studies for Saturday, October 15th. As I always do, just going to go over a few reminders, clarifications, anything I think you need to know to stay on top of things in our course, so let's get started. First up here, just a reminder that our first chapter quiz on Chapter 8, Queer Literatures, is coming up this Tuesday on the 18th there, so please be ready for that. There's going to be two quizzes on Chapter 8 because Chapter 8 is a very long chapter. There's lots of stuff. It used to be actually, some of that material used to be in different chapters. They kind of pulled it all together and put it into this one Chapter 8 now. So just kind of keep a heads up there with that. Also here, Chapter 8 is some pretty cool stuff. We just finished covering some information about some famous queer writers, Oscar Wilde and Radcliffe Hall, namely, and how they both had a great downfall because their work was considered to be obscene for various reasons. So hopefully you enjoyed learning about that because it's pretty interesting. We're going to move on in this chapter and talk about other writers and novelists too, maybe some lesser known, but important nonetheless, but also talk about the intriguing area of lesbian pulp novels. It's really fun stuff. I got some great images to show you, even a collection of book covers from this stuff. It's really almost laugh out loud funny, but there's definitely two ways to look at these kind of novels, as we'll talk about in lectures. So interesting stuff. And we're also going to be looking later on in this chapter, looking at queer literature for children, if you will, and some of that is not without its controversy. There's been a lot of book banning, as we've already talked about in lectures, so I'm going to pass around some of those controversial books, and you can decide for yourself if you think children should or should not see this sort of literature. And so I'm going to be doing some show and tell with all that. It's always a fun part of the course, and I'm looking forward so you can get your hands on this stuff for yourself and see what all the fuss is about, because it's always an eye-opening experience, if you will. Next up is that your interview paper is coming due fairly soon. It's going to be due on Tuesday, November 1st. Remember, there is a dedicated module on Canvas to tell you how to work through the interview paper. There's complete instructions there, including a set of questions that are already pre-written for you that you need to ask your interviewee. The only thing you got to remember about your interviewee is that it must be somebody who self-identifies as being part of the queer community. So please make sure that you keep that in mind. Or it can be somebody from the class, somebody from your personal life, a co-worker, whatever, as long as they identify that way. And so there's a set of written questions already ready to go for you, but you have to write 1/5 additional question on your own. That's all in the instructions. And you also have to provide answers to 3 summary questions about your interview. So you're going to do some writing up there, but there's pretty clear guidelines on how to do that there. So do take a look at those instructions in the module on Canvas on how to do that, so you're prepared ahead of time and not rushing through this at the last minute there. This is not like writing a scientific paper. It's more of an experience-based approach, and that's why I want you to do it, to get a taste of doing an interview with somebody in case you've never done that before. It's an intriguing experience for the first time if you haven't done it, and most people that get interviewed find it pretty interesting too, because nobody's ever really probably sat down and asked them how they thought about some of these things, especially about being queer, and so they may have thought about those things but never been asked before to address them verbally, if you will. So it's a pretty cool experience, and I know you're going to like it because I always get plenty of positive feedback from that there. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. That's our game plan for this coming week there. We're going to stick with Chapter 8. We're not going to get through all of it there, and we'll pick up on Chapter 9 the following week there. But if you need anything in the meantime, please reach out via email on Canvas. I'll be glad to get back to you. And otherwise, I hope you're having a good weekend, and I will see you in class on Tuesday. And again, come prepared for our quiz. We'll take those in our groups like we always do. Right. Bye-bye for now.